Okay, let's hope that the stream is still up and running, because we got an error message about a minute ago, but that's not relevant. What is relevant is we are now in part 17 of this series that apparently will not end. Is the sound working? Yeah, it looks like it. It was turned off, but it's turned back on now. Let me know if the stream is still running, by the way, because, yeah, it just came up with an error. And, I think I may be back now. But yes, just in case you're watching this on YouTube or some kind of VOD upload later on, welcome to part 17 of playing every game on the entertainment system plug-and-play TAT device. I do have the fan on in the background, so if there's a whirring noise going off in the background, that's why. It is like 25 degrees at least today, so I want to keep myself cool. And to keep myself extra cool, I switched up my drink. Yeah, I switched up my drink, and I've actually got myself a beer. A non-alcoholic beer. Hold on, I'm just going to set out. Okay, so that should work. Anyway, yeah, so we've got a few games left on this page. I did some of them last time, but we have Colourful Dragon, Colourful Dragon as opposed to Colour Half Dragon, apparently. Maybe this is the sequel to Colour Dinosaur that we were all waiting for. But we also have Tiger-Heli, The Universe Sold, I look forward to that one, and Egypt. I'm going to do Egypt first, just because... Well, first off, I don't know where I put the... Ah, there it is. I was like, where's the remote? Yes, from Human Creative Products. Ooh, yeah. I kind of wish I could go to my office, but, you know, it's the weekend. It is not a working day for me. Plus, it's a bank holiday weekend, so I can't even go in on Monday and just, like, enjoy the AC away from home. Can't even do that until Tuesday, which is unfortunate. That happens to happen on the one day where I can't go to work. Excluding the weekends, of course. So we've got a story mode just to see what that's about. Now, I am going to play this on digest mode, because from what I remember, there are fewer levels in that mode, so I figured it's probably better to do this, playing this game on this console. I get the feeling this is maybe not a game that's most conducive to streaming, which is why I'm going for the shorter mode. Not necessarily because the game is bad or anything. Like, there are good games, or games that I like, that I wouldn't really want to stream. Games like Shanghai, or Picross, or games like that. I like those games, but I wouldn't want to stream them. Yeah, I do... Well, I mean, yeah, so basically I just work weekdays, but... Yeah, basically it's a bank holiday on Monday, so I'm not working on that day. And I'll probably be spending the whole day outside of my house, so I'm not boiling at home. Because I don't really have AC. I've got a couple of fans here, but... Yeah, it's just one of those things. Yeah, see, I quite like when my creative products are human. Certainly, look at all the AI slop that's on the Switch eShop. Yeah, I think I'll take this. I mean, I'll take even the bad games on this console over those. You know, there was more creativeness, or creativity, to Fruit Gift than there is to any of that. You had to put more effort in to suck. Also, yeah, you really are just playing as not Indiana Jones, which is kind of funny to me. It's especially funny because the gameplay is not like Indiana Jones at all. And yeah, so you can travel on the arrows, but you can't travel on the spaces that don't have an arrow on them. You can travel on the blank spots where it's black. So I'm going to turn the game up on my end because it is quite... it's quite quiet. Yeah, try saying that 5 times fast. Also, yes, good afternoon, Menzine. How are you doing? Does this... Is this set up the way I think it is? Yeah, here we go. See, this is how this game works. You have to match up the pieces. It's a little bit like, I guess, Puzznik meets Adventures of Lolo, I guess. There are elements of both, but yeah, just like Puzznik, you have to match up all the same icons. Or all the icons which are the same. You know, it's like that. Which is funny, because there was a version of Puzznik on the NES. I don't recall seeing it on this console, though. Is that going to work? Yes. No, this is a real game. To be fair, the majority of the games on the system are, you know, actual commercial NES Famicom games. And in fact, there's really not many nice code games left. Like, there's a few. Like, there's maybe a couple pages left, and not much else. Yeah, so here we go. As long as you match up the pieces, you're fine. It doesn't matter where everything else is when you beat the level. Also, I think this difficulty may give you a bunch of power-ups to begin with. I forget how this works. But yeah, this is a game that only got released on Famicom by Human of Fire Pro fame. So yeah, you might know them for Fire Pro and various other games. And what else did they make? I think they made Pro Wrestling, like the Black Box Nintendo game. I think that was from them. And there were a bunch of other games that they worked on, like Clock Tower. I think that was them. You know, I never really got into Fire Pro other than the one that they released on Steam, where you can just, like, do all these crazy characters. I remember making Pink Jelly in that game's engine. Because, of course, I would do that. I mean, what else do you think I'm going to do? It took quite a bit of effort, because it's a bit limited in terms of what you can make, but I found a way. Yeah, Formation Soccer. I've never played that. I'm not a big soccer person, to be fair. I know more about soccer than I probably should, considering that I'm not particularly a fan of it. But who knows, maybe we'll see some soccer today, because I'm pretty sure there are some football games. Oh, hold on, I just realised that. So the Star of David was glowing before, so I guess when it's glowing you can go to the end? I guess we'll see. Okay, well, obviously I gotta go down. I'm not sure if this game is a live system or not. I know Adventures of Lolo 3, I think you just got infinite lives, and, you know, you just had to go back if you used a password, maybe. And even then, it might just continue from the level that you were on. Oh, oops. Well, I've messed up already. Yeah. Okay, so I think I actually have to reset. Well, let me try this again. Yeah, so this is one of those deals where you do just get infinite lives. So, there's no real game overs as such in this, as far as I know. I don't think this game has game overs. That's kind of the whole thing with this, like, 1cc setup that I have going on. It kind of goes on the assumption that these games do have fail states. As in the sense that you can get a game over and you either have to continue or restart the game. And, yeah, that's really not the case with this one. At least I don't think there is. I haven't played this game that much, but I've played it enough to know the gist. Basically how it works. I mean, pretty much what you've seen so far. There's not a whole lot more. SNES Drunk. I think I've seen a few of those videos, not a whole lot though. But yeah, and this channel I need to look into more. Also, does anyone know how many puzzles this game has? Because it's set up a bit like Super Monkey Ball Deluxe, where you only have to do half of them. But that game had 10 sets of levels, and they actually did get quite difficult later on. Let's see how this works. So I think I want to move up. And then I want to move... No, I don't want to move down. Because then the... Actually, no, I do want to move down now that I think about it. Actually, that will work. Like that. Okay, that worked. See, I was worried that there were going to be icons where you can only match 3 of them. Doesn't seem to be the case, though. But yeah, that's kind of like the main issue with trying to solve these puzzles is... Oh, oops. Also, I don't know what's going on with OBS, it's just being an arse. It's just... It's failing. So, yeah, if you hear that doo-doo sound, that's what that's about. I don't know what's going on with that today. It was working just fine every other stream, but now it's, yeah, now it's just not doing it. Also, this is taking me way more moves to solve than it really should, but there we go. I have to send a message. Okay. We'll just continue as normal, and hopefully it works, because there doesn't seem to be any issues with the recording at least, so if the stream does keep cutting out, when I upload this later on YouTube, you shouldn't have any issues with, yeah, you shouldn't have any issues with watching this VOD later. Like, it should just show up as normal, I think. Hold on, how do I do this? Okay, I'm confused on this one, I'm not gonna lie. I don't really get this puzzle. Okay, so I can do that, except... Oh. Yeah, I've really messed up this one. Oops. I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, just look at this. Like, what am I even doing? I don't know. This might be one that I just end up playing for like 10 minutes and then moving on. Oh, this is how you do it. Yep, it's a lot easier than I made it look. I think I've only ever seen Kinnaman, to be honest. I never really looked at the other, like Russian game reviewers. I think just a lot of them aren't really translated. But, yeah, if anyone wants me to continue with this game, let me know. If you want me to move on, then give me a bell on that too. I gotta get this up to line up. Maybe I could do it where I get to try each puzzle once, and if I don't get to solve all of them in one attempt, maybe I'll just, you know, move on to the next game. Let's try it that way. I mean, to be fair, this is not a bad game. It's not a great game. It doesn't really stand out to me as like being particularly great or anything. It feels like it's missing something. Like there should be something a little bit more than what you actually see. Yeah, I don't know how long this is either. I know there are quite a few levels, because that's how these games always work. But hey, we've got a different tile set now, so that's cool. Now, I note the fact that it does at least tell you how many tiles there are of each type to match. So, got that to work with. So, yeah. Which is good at knowing if there are an odd or even amount of blocks that you have to match. It's like you see here, where... oh, this may be a problem. No! And now I'm stuck. How do I do this? I don't know! I'm bad at this, as it turns out. Yeah, big shocker there. Because, you know, I'm known for my amazing puzzle-solving skills. Like this apparently just gets rid of some blocks. Which could be useful. Okay, how do we do this? Okay, well, I can no longer get to those blocks because they're stuck in the corner. That's not really... What does this one do? Oh, does that just... Okay, it just gets rid of all the blocks that I don't really need. Which is fine by me. Yeah, this is just me failing at puzzles, apparently. Yeah, someone tells me I'm probably not going to end up playing through this whole thing. I mean, for one thing, it doesn't even tell you how many levels there are. But, again, given the type of game this is, I'm going to assume there's a lot. I know Adventures of Lolo had 50 puzzles. I'm guessing this probably has a similar amount. Okay, so that's obvious enough. Let's see. Okay, I see the problem here. Let's try that. And then we'll move down. Aha! Okay, that one's a lot more straightforward. Okay, that time I was not failing at puzzles. I was actually succeeding at puzzles. Yeah, it's a mix of success and failure so far. Mind you, I am intrigued to know what some of the other games are going to be like. So, we've got 8... Okay, we've got 8 flags to match up. Oh. Okay, I think I may have just messed this up. And I don't think the power-ups are really going to do anything on this level. So, yep, I don't think I'm beating this because the arrows only go up. And there's no way to connect these two flags together. Okay, we'll give up on that one. And, okay, can I beat these other puzzles? What have we got here? So we've got left, right, up, down. There is a slight choo-choo rocket vibe, actually, with all the arrows. Okay, I've got an idea. So what I probably want to do is... Oh. Actually, no. Okay, that's not too much of an issue, because I can just do this. Yeah, and then I'll do this. I've got 4 of each, so I only have to match them in pairs. Yeah, what's this? See my puzzle-solving skills at work. Also, what am I even playing as? Because they showed the Indiana Jones dude at the start. Like, am I just playing as Indiana Jones controlling this ball? Like, is he using the powers of his brain to do this? Yes, I successed. You know, I do have that mini joystick plug-and-play thing, but the controls on that are so bad. Like, it's just the worst joystick I ever used in my life. And I'm not a huge arcade joystick person, but playing them with, like, a real arcade machine is fine. Okay, so we did that. Yeah, there's not really much of a sense of progression. Because it's not like it says, okay, now you're on this set of levels. It just... each level select screen looks exactly the same as the last. Okay, let me try to figure this out. So, yeah, a bit of a problem here with just the sheer amount of blocks. So it looks like I've got to... I'm going to assume I have to go on this one, maybe. Ah, okay, let me try this out. Oh, hold on. Is that going to work? Oh, no. Have I messed this up? Guess we'll find out in a bit. Okay, so that's fine. Now, we've got to do this. Aha! I did it. I mean, if you want me to skip the game and go on to the next one, you're welcome to do so. I wanted to try this one out anyway. Because, you know, this is not a bad game. I mean, certainly, I mean, you think about some of the games that I played last time, and, yeah, I mean, you compare this to something like Back to the Future, or Shack and Pop, just, like, just the absolute, like, worst. I mean, this is 1,000 times better than that. Oh. That may have been a bad idea. I guess we'll find out in a bit. But, yeah, I think I get the concept here. Oh, oops. Yes, they made an Egyptian-themed puzzle game on the NES that actually kind of works. It's like, yeah. This probably came out, I think this would have actually come out after Pyramid as well, because this was 1991, I think. And Pyramid would have been out the year before, so... Yeah, this had to have been here we go. Can I solve this? Ugh! I didn't want to do that. Oops. I pressed the wrong one. And now I pressed the wrong one. Might be a problem. But hold on, I can get this. Okay, I got 4 of those. Okay, that's okay. I'm just like, well, I got 3 of something, so that means I got to do this. Because if I have 1 left, then I'm in trouble. Yeah, there we go. So we get all the flags out of the way. Aha! Okay. Finally getting somewhere. Like this. Now it's got to match up the... I don't know if they're meant to be lions, but they look almost like weird, sort of deformed rabbits to me. I can't even tell you why. But it's got that vibe. To me. Okay, how do I do this? Not like that. So maybe having them on the edge of the screen isn't really going to help. Yeah, I've played Pyramid enough to where I can actually make some progress in it. I would have actually gotten further, but that's one of those games where, like, I play it for 10 minutes and I'm like, okay, I'm done with this now. I'm just going to just end the game so I don't have to suffer it anymore. Yeah, I mean, I think there are multiple columns derivatives on here. I mean, we saw Hexa. Magic Jewelry has to be on this console somewhere. Like, there's no way that they made a console like this and didn't put Magic Jewelry on it. Like, okay, you are not convincing me of that. Okay, so I've got an idea. See if this works. Oh no. Is this going to work? It may not work. No, because the problem is I've got these blocks in the way. Okay, let's try using this thing. And as the stream fails again... Like, what is going on with OBS? Why does it keep cutting out? Just being rubbish. Okay, here we go. Nope, and apparently I got this stupid thing in the way. Hooray! Now I have to use up all my power-ups so I can beat this level. Okay. As I say, yeah, by the way, anyone who's on the stream, just keep refreshing it. I don't know why OBS isn't working. I can only assume it's either because it's warm. I don't know if it's the temperature of my PC. I would have thought so, because I don't really tend to have issues with that. Or maybe it's something to do with the capture device, although I'm sure if that was the case, I would have seen that problem already. Oh god. You know, I wish Crazy Creatures was on this. Crazy Creatures is amazing, and no one ever talks about it, and this should. Like, secretly, one of the best games on the NES, and it does not get its due. Like, people just don't give Crazy Creatures the respect that it deserves. Okay, how do I do this? Okay, I might not be able to finish this. Nope, I'm stuck. So I think that means I have to give up. I don't know. Maybe I need to do something with OBS and try to fix it. I need to see what's causing it to fail, because just randomly doing it on its own. Okay, how am I going to do this? Oh, no. Okay, well, I can't push this. No, I think I've lost. Because, yeah, you see that there's basically one piece left. That means I've lost. There's no way to do it then. Okay, well, I'm probably not going to get much further than this. If OBS keeps dropping out, then I may just have to see what else there is. I may just have to look to restart it, maybe, like mid-stream. Okay, we'll get these out of the way at least. No! I didn't want to do that. I keep going on arrows when I don't want to. Also, I'm not going to lie, something about this game really makes me want to just go back and play Choo Choo Rocket. Because while this is not a bad game, Choo Choo Rocket is kind of the better one, let's be honest. Okay, let's see if I can just figure this out in one go. Nope, apparently I got one left. And, okay, so I think that means I lose. And, also means I'm just gonna move on to the next game. Z-Dog matching memory. Is that the one that has pink jelly in it? Because if so, then it's automatically the best matching game. More so than that other one that I played on this console that's actually not half bad. Okay, let's play. We have to play The Universe Sold. I need to know, how did we get to a point where the entire universe ended up being sold? Let's find out. Well, it has nothing to do with that at all. The game is actually called The Universe Soldiers. Also, why is the TV so quiet on my end today? Yeah. So, easy and hard. Okay. So, this is a Gamtech game. And from what I remember, Gamtech games generally, the only difference between them is, well, the only difference between difficulties is the speed. So, yeah, you might remember a game on here, Fire Dragon, which was basically a Snake clone, where the high difficulty is the same thing, just faster. I'll play this one on easy, just because I haven't really played this game for more than a few minutes. Okay, so we are in the Tianzinwu stars, whatever that means. Okay. You ever played this one? Why this is called The Universe Soldiers, I have no idea. It's weird. And, yeah, you can also just freeze the other car. I mean, this is less to do with Universal Soldier. And, yeah, really, if anything, it bears more of a resemblance to Head On, the 1970s arcade game. Which I was never really a fan of. In fact, I much preferred this game to Head On. Just because they updated the gameplay a bit. You know, you have... you've got power-ups. And, yeah. I suppose, in a way, it slightly resembles Route 16 Turbo, which I did play on this system recently. Or a ROM hack thereof. Also note the sound effects, too, which I think are taken from... is it Twinbee? Oh, yeah, totally fair, by the way, just having a bomb spawn in front of me that I had no way of reacting to, so well done there, game. I appreciate it. Yes, I actually showed that on stream recently, too. They have a sort of gameplay trailer. And it looks quite interesting. I'd be interested to see how that fares compared to original Route 16. Ooh. Okay, so now I have to deal with multiple enemies. But yeah, if you've never played this, it's not a bad game, actually. I haven't really played this one that much, but I've played it enough to know that I wouldn't mind trying to play through the whole thing. I probably won't get through the whole game today because I haven't played it much. Also, you can just turn the enemies into fruit, which is convenient. And yes, tomatoes are fruit. I think they were tomatoes. They grow on plants, therefore they're fruit. Also, they swap between the same two songs over and over. I don't know why the audio on my TV is so quiet today. I don't know if that's an issue with the console, or if because I've got my fan on in the background. Maybe that just makes the TV sound quieter. Probable. Oh. Yep, good thing I got that one up because I had to use it immediately. They replaced Keropi with this game? I might prefer this game, even if I'm rubbish at it. But, yeah, I think you're right. They probably could have done a bit more with the graphics. In fact, it's very reminiscent of a game I played on Game Boy. I can't remember what it was called, but I have a multi-cart that has a game that's similar to this. I don't remember it being quite as good, though. Also, I don't think that's supposed to look like that. That may just be an error with this particular system. Also, I do like that the ship has Gamtech written on it. That's pretty good. Just so you know who made it. Well, I was hoping to get further into that. Maybe I'll need to try that more on my own time. And preferably in a form where the graphics actually work properly. But, okay, I'm just going to plug in my turbo controller for these last couple of games, because I do want to have that plugged in. Yeah, again, I don't think it's supposed to look like that, especially considering what happened with a few of the other games on this collection, where they just couldn't get the graphics to work properly. Okay, and now I'm having an issue where... What's going on? Okay, so if I plug this controller in, it just constantly goes up. This may be a problem. Is the D-pad on the swing broken? Because... Okay. Okay, apparently... Oh, is it working? Where's the game? Yeah, here we go. Colourful Dragon... Tiger-Heli. Well, I'm going to save Tiger-Heli. But yeah, it seems like blowing in the controller port seemed to fix it. Okay, so we're good to play some Colourful Dragon. I want to call some dragons. Oh. And it's this game! Yeah, you may know this one, and if not... Well, it's also known as Tagin Dragon. This actually got a US release somehow. And you may also recognize this theme song from the Super Mario World bootleg, because somehow this song ended up being remade for that. I don't even know. Also, this has multiple two-player modes. So I've actually found a different turbo controller for this, one that should be better than the other one, because the buttons and the D-pad in the other one aren't great. I was like, I want to find a better one. So this is one that's similar to the other one I've been using. It doesn't feel quite as good, but certainly better than the other one I was using. And this one has turbo buttons, and I do want turbo buttons for this game, you'll see why. So this game, if you don't know what this is, it is weird. Like, how do you even describe this? This is a game where you are a dragon inside of a maze, and you have to eat the tails of the other dragons. I have no idea what they were going for with the concept. See, this is what I like about Sachin. Sometimes they just have really weird concepts for their games, and so you end up with stuff like this. And for the record, I have actually played through this game in the past. I don't know why, but I did. And there are 20 levels, so let's see how far I get. Now, I do want to point out, there is a secret trick to beating this game. So if you sit in the corner like this, your tail cannot be eaten because it's it's outside of the playfield. So you can just do this and just hold down Turbo A and just win. At least when the hit detection actually decides to work. Sometimes it just decides it can't be bothered. Also, there is a time limit, which is what that bar on the bottom is for. Yeah, Rockman X. I do have a copy of Rockman X. Maybe I can play that on stream sometime. Yeah, that's the secret to beating this game, is you just do that. And then you win. Oh, also... Oh. Yeah, you can eat through the blocks if you collect that potion, I think. Except, if you've already won the level, then you can't do that. I don't know why. Okay, let me try playing this game for real. Just so you can see what this is about. Also, sometimes you just go through the pot and don't actually eat anything. I don't really understand that. And sometimes you get killed before you get the chance to really do much of anything, because, yeah, it's one of those games. The most interesting thing about this game is that this was actually, I want to say, one of Homer Cheng's first games. That's Homer of, you know, Pink Jelly fame, and various other things. But yeah, he worked on this. Like, I want to say he programmed it, and presumably did the soundtrack, considering that, again, the Super Mario World bootleg has music from this game in it. So, fair to assume that. Also, yeah, you can just do this. I don't even know what the power-ups do. I know the lamp allows you to eat through blocks, which is what I'm doing right now. Also, the ice just makes you go really fast. So we've got the yellow cherries, my favourite type of cherries. And whatever that thing is, I think that may just be extra points. None of them are extra lives, I can tell you that. But I did get super speed, which I think wears off as soon as you go to the next level. This game is funny bad to an extent. It'd probably be funnier if you had a second person to play it with, but I never did. And I don't think I actually have this game on cartridge. I own a bunch of Sachin cartridges, but I don't think any of them have this game on it. I mean, I will give the game this. It is better than Pyramid. It's more of a game than that. Even if you can cheese it by just using Turbo A. Yes, there is a credit sequence in this game. If you can beat this game, there are credits. Okay, so it looks like the speed power-up actually does carry over to the different levels. This is it. You just hold down Turbo A and just run around like a pillock. And then eventually you might win. Yeah, the in-level music isn't too bad, actually. They did put some effort into that. Again, this was like a Hummer team work. Well, maybe not Hummer team, but again, there are staff from Hummer team who worked on this. Makes it kind of interesting, in retrospect. Saying that, this is, yeah, definitely not a good game, but it's weird enough that it's maybe worth playing. At least for a little bit. I did not enjoy this game when I played for it, but I'd certainly take it over some of the other games. I mean, you compare this to Back to the Future that I played last time, which... I mean, this game isn't good, but I will take this over that. And that was a licensed game too, which is kind of the sad part. Anyway, yeah, that's Colourful Dragon. If you can get through all 24 levels of that, where you get the credits. But that's not going to happen today. Oh yeah, back go to Fuda 4. I've heard of that one. So I know what you're talking about. Where's the game? Oh, here it is. Here we go. Last game for this page. We're going to play some Tiger-Heli. Let's see how far I get in this. So this game doesn't actually end. This one just goes on forever. And I think the B button shoots in this. Yeah, okay. I was slightly worried that B was just going to activate my power-up thing that you're supposed to use when you're about to get killed. Also, it's been a while since I've played this one, so maybe a bit rusty with it. You know, it's funny too. This game really... It really feels like the halfway point between the NES versions of 1942 and Twin Cobra. It certainly feels a lot like Twin Cobra, but... yeah. Of course, all of them were made by Micronics, which kind of explains it. This game isn't too bad, actually. I don't mind this one. But I do remember when I played this on the 150 one, it didn't really work properly. Like, the graphics would just start glitching out partway through the first level. Doesn't seem to be doing that here, though, so maybe they actually did go back and fix this one. Yeah, this one's not bad. This game is okay. I was mostly saving it just because I wanted to make sure I had the turbo controller set up for it. Also, I may do rubbish on this one today, we'll see. But yeah, Tiger-Heli. I mean, in a way, there is some degree of hell to this, but that's more just in terms of the amount of bullets you have to try to avoid. Like look at this. Oh, look at this. The game started flickering too. That's when you know there's a lot going on screen. Usually. Though certainly, I mean, I would gladly take this over something like Son, for instance, which was yet another Micronics port, and really not a good one. So I think... ah, here we go. So I've now got the additional plane. Ooh. Okay, that looked like I got hit, but the game decided to grant me mercy. Hold on, is this like 1942 where you like lose the side plane if it gets hit? And I can't remember if the planes actually try to attack you if you leave them or not. Oh yeah, this is definitely better than Exit Exis. Much better soundtrack at the very least. Yeah, Micronix is weird. Like, a lot of their games were not very good, but they could turn out, at least when it came to, like, conversions of games made by other people, sometimes they could turn out decent work. Like I say, the, what was it, Twin Cobra is on this console. Actually, not a bad game. I do recommend trying that one out. Even if I'd say the Mega Drive version is maybe the better version. I can't remember how many levels are in this game. I think there's something like 4 or 5 stages and then it loops. I don't think there's any kind of ending screen though, so I think it's just a case of... Yeah, I think the only way to really count this as a win is if I get to the point where the game starts looping. Yeah, thankfully the enemy tanks can only shoot in 8 directions. I probably would say this is better than 1942, even though I've played that game more than this. But yeah, this is probably the better game overall. I mean, again, far better sound than that game. And there's just a little bit more to it. Although 1942 at least has an ending, where this one kind of doesn't. Yeah, I think Pony Canyon published this. It definitely feels like something they would have done, because they did a lot of games on the Famicom, and they typically weren't great. This is probably one of their better ones, actually. More of a game than some of the other ones. Oh yeah, I forgot there's like a limited range to the gun thing that you get with the power-up. Basically, if the enemy isn't like within a few feet of you, one hit. But at least it's obvious from, you know, the explosion animation. It could be a lot worse. You can feel some level of jank though, like the way the screen just kind of weirdly flickered there. I don't know what happened there. Hey, the game looks decent enough for 1986, and, you know, like, the 1986 holiday season, I don't know what happened to the Famicom in, like, the last few weeks of that year, but, like, there were so many just really, like, terrible games that were coming out around that time. You know, Deadly Towers, for instance. Or the Dragon Ball game, like the first one, that was really bad, and no one in the right mind would actually want to play it for more than a few minutes, and pretty much hinges on luck to actually get through it. And, like, Ikari Warriors... I'm sorry, Ikari Warriors on the NES sucked. I will keep saying this until the end of time. Just, no. And, you know what's funny? Micronix also made that one, and that game was far worse than this. Which is fine by me that this game is on here, and that one, I don't think, here. Yeah, Sky Shark was on the NES as well, which I think is sort of a sequel to this. I don't know if it's an official sequel or not, but... It plays a lot like this, but that game, I would say, is considerably harder. Just feels faster and more aggressive. Here we go. Welcome to my pacifist run of Tiger-Heli. Okay, here we go. Also, look at all the power-ups I've accumulated, too. I've got 8 of them. It's pretty good. Whoa! Oh. Game doesn't like it when I use the turbo buttons, though. See the flickering. It can occasionally be hard to tell what shoots at you and what doesn't. Like, there are certain enemies where they do shoot at you, but it's not immediately obvious on the sprite. You just kind of have to figure it out over time. You know, I think this is the best I've ever done at this game, actually. Normally I get killed a whole bunch of times by this point. Wait, is Software Creation still around? I thought they went out of business in the 90s. Like, I remember they made, like, that really awful version of Mortal Kombat 3 for Master System. And then they... On my radar, at least, they kind of just disappeared after that. I don't know. Maybe they did do more afterwards, and I'm just not aware of it. Yeah, so I think these things shoot at you, don't they? Like, these small boats. Basically, if the thing has an animation for turning their gun around... 13th of June. Oof. Yeah, Star Soldier. One of those games that's close to being great, but it's just a little bit too weird, I think. In terms of just how it works. Like, the whole, like, you go behind the background and you can't shoot. I never liked that. I think there's a reason why no other game did that. And yeah, Makai Mirror or Ghosts and Goblins, I never liked that game. Like, the only game in that series I ever really liked was Gargoyle's Quest, which is kind of a spin-off. Gargoyle's Quest is pretty good. I actually finished that game recently, and you know what? Yeah, definitely worth trying that one out. I remember when I did the Game Boy streams, I put that game pretty high up on the list, and I stand by that. In fact, if I went back and re-ranked all those games, that one might be a little bit higher. Ooh. See this timing? Look at this. And I just lost my plane, but I should be okay. Besides, I got 9 of the power thing. Ooh. Yep, good thing I did that. What was that sound effect? Is that a glitch? Or is it meant to be like shooting on wood? Like, what's the surface I'm flying over? Ugh. Wait, did I run out of power-ups? Wait, why did it go down to 0? I only used it twice. Or is it like you stockpile it up and get a more powerful version of the weapon? I don't remember. I can't tell if that's a glitch or if it works differently to how I remember it. Well, I've got 1 at least, so should be okay. Oh no! Okay, this might be bad. Forgot about this part entirely. Yeah, and the music changed. It changed back. That's not a good sign. And I think the screen just glitched out a bit. Okay, I may start getting stuck here, just like OBS got stuck because it decided to be rubbish. Great. Yep, I'm dying and OBS is also dying. Like, OBS was so disappointed that I died that it crashed. Ugh. Might just be an issue with my internet connection. I might need to look into that after the stream, but I'll upload this VOD afterwards, and yeah, you should be able to just see it okay. Do these enemies get more aggressive as you go through the game? Do they shoot more often, or is that just me? Oh, you bastard! Oh, wait, you lose bombs if you get hit? Okay, I didn't realise that. Well, at least now I have a bunch of them. Yeah, this is where I'm just going to start dying over and over, I think. Yeah, it may just be a problem with my internet connection. I have no idea what's going on there. It's worked fine for the other 16 streams, but not today. Oof. Okay, that feels like I should have gotten hit, but whatever. Yeah, now I'm just getting hit over and over. This is not helping. I kind of wish this had the soundtrack from Sky Shark on the NES, though. Because Sky Shark's soundtrack is so good. It's the thing I like most about that game. But I've got to be honest, I think this actually plays better than Sky Shark. It's just... like, it's difficult, but... that game just feels kind of overly difficult to the point that it sucks out quite a bit of the fun out of it. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. Just when I need the bonus the most, the game refuses to give me one. So I'm going to have to pause the game so I can take a sip. Actually, maybe this non-alcoholic beer is not the best option for streaming. Maybe I need to... maybe when I'm done with this game I can get some squash. Put a bit of ice in it. Okay, let's see. Can I beat this level? So I do have a few lives and a bunch of bombs in reserve. Wait, is this just level 1 again? Did I loop back to the first level? Because this looks similar. Yeah, this looks like I went back to level 1. Okay, did I actually beat this game? Or is it just faking me out? I don't remember where the loop point is. Okay. No, this looks different. Yeah. I swear sometimes I use the bomb and it, like, just drops to 0, and other times it just doesn't drop at all. It's just weirdness. It's like, what's going on? Ugh. Okay, I got lucky there. It feels like, again, like, if I'd done that a frame later, I would have gotten hit. And yeah, it does seem like the enemies shoot a little bit faster on the later levels. It feels. Ooh, now I've got a red plane. Look at this. It's like it's turning into... what was that game? Thundercade for the NES. We have vehicles that can shoot sideways. They go on the side of your other main vehicle. Okay, so I think I've... Oh, I was going to say, I figured out the strategy, which is to stay on the right. Or at least that would have been my strategy until I lost the thing. Okay. Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't let me use the bomb, and I never figured out why. Like, it just seems random as to when the game lets you use the bomb or not. Like, the game doesn't really explain it very well. Well, actually, it doesn't explain it at all, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. It's not that I'm just having to spam these bombs. Like, the game does it itself sometimes. I think it's like, if you're about to die, sometimes it does that, and then you don't die. Yes, that's yet another one of their games. Yeah, the enemies definitely do get more aggressive. Yeah, see how much more often they shoot now? It's not that much different, but it's different enough that you kind of have to get used to it. It throws me off just enough that I get killed. Yeah, Micronix did so many NES games. I mean, they weren't quite the most prolific. I mean, like, no one's beaten... what are they called? Like, no one's beaten Toze in terms of that. Toze probably made, like, 500 games for this console. At least it feels like it. Okay, how many shots does this thing take? Answer too many. Okay, well. Seems like I'm finally getting somewhere. No! Good thing I got the turbo button! Otherwise I would have been in trouble. But yeah, Tiger-Heli in the house. Hey, I got 10,000 points. Okay. Yeah, also, kvass. Yeah, nice bottle of kvass. Okay, so is this going to be a different level? Let's see. How's this change up? Okay, yeah, this is different. Okay, so yeah, there's 5 levels then. So I'm pretty sure this is the 5th level. Okay, also this feels a lot like one of the levels from Sky Shark, actually. This is just like Sky Shark if Micronix made it, pretty much. Oh. Yeah, see, this is the thing. The enemies aren't that much more aggressive, but it's enough of a difference that it messes me up and just gets me killed. Also, I don't know where the enemy spawn points are here, so I'm probably just going to get killed a lot. So, something tells me I'm probably not going to beat this. But I'll give it a go. Let me guess, they're going to spawn on the right. Yeah, one on the right. Ugh, give me the plane. Okay, that's interesting that I picked it up from the other side. Okay, I've got an extra life, I think. These enemies take more hits on the later levels. I think so. Unfortunately, I can no longer use my bomb thing, which would help immensely. And even after collecting several of them, the game still wouldn't let me do it. Well, Software Creations were definitely more talented programmers, I'd say. It's just a case that a lot of their games just weren't any fun to play. I don't know. It's kind of a common problem, like British game studios from back in the day, where there was a lot of talent. Like, they knew how to program and, you know, do graphics and sound and whatever. But they didn't really know how to design games particularly well. I don't know. It's kind of how it feels for a lot of them. Like Rare, a lot of their games just... They're well made, but they aren't... They could have done with some more passes in terms of actually just designing the game. Also, yeah, I'm deliberately not pausing this game, because I feel like if I just constantly pause a game like this, it's just going to be like... Make me feel like a punk, and not in a good way. Ooh. See that for clutch play, though. It's pretty good. Is this just redoing all the bits on the previous levels now? What's going on? Ugh. Oh! Please tell me there's none of those, like, mini-boss things. I say mini-bosses, because there don't really seem to be any, like, proper end bosses in this game. Which, you know what? Fine. I don't mind that. If it means I might have a chance of finishing this, then sure. Well, quote-unquote, finishing. What counts as finishing this game. Well, so that's weird, that as the plane was exploding, it was firing a few more bullets there. That's... I suppose 1942... Certainly one of the other games that Micronix did had that sort of same thing going on, where like you continue firing bullets even after you died. Was that Micronix or was that someone else? Where occasionally games would do that. Okay, I think this may actually be the end of the game. Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually got this far in the game before. I don't remember getting this far anyway. I like some shooters, it just depends on how the challenge is derived, I suppose. So I want to say we might be back at the spawn point, or... No, maybe there are more levels than I realise. Okay, wishful thinking on my part. Actually, no. No, this does look like a level that we've seen before, because I remember that plane just flying out as soon as I started the level. Okay, so here's a question. When does this game start looping? And does it loop from the first level, or does it just start repeating the levels in a different order? Because... I'm pretty sure we have seen this level before. So unless they just, like, pad out the game with, like, repeating levels you've already done. Yeah, I think we've effectively done this. I may need to look up, like, a long play just to, like, determine what constitutes beating this game. I could have sworn this game didn't have more than 5 levels, but I don't know. Maybe it works differently to how I think it does. Yeah, I may need to look at, like, retro achievements, because I know this game has them. I remember trying to get the retro achievements on this, and I would always get stuck on, like, level 3 or 4, and I couldn't beat it. And I swear the win condition is, like, if you beat level 4, I think, then you beat the game. Yeah, Macross is a bit weird like that. But Macross really only has the one level, and it just loops the same level forever until you run out of lives. So, yeah, look at this, by the way. Like, how am I meant to do that without just getting hit over and over? But yeah, I think I am... I think I am at the point where the game is essentially looped, because, again, I don't think there's anything beyond this part. So, Oh, wait, no. Okay, for a second I thought I had another life. No, I forgot that Micronix has a habit of just making the game go to black to load the game over screen. Because their games are just like that. Okay, Tiger... Heli. Okay, I need to... If I could spell Tiger-Heli. Let me look this up. Yeah, reach the second loop of the game. Yeah, so there's... Yeah, so I think there is just the, like, 4 or 5 levels, and then it just loops. But it doesn't loop in the same order. Like, it loops the levels in a different order. To try to hide the fact that it's just looping the game, or it's, like, run out of content. I'm actually looking this up, because I don't want to, like, put this on the list, and then find out that it turns out that I didn't beat the game. Because I did that with Police Dog Lacey on one of the other streams. And let me look this up. Okay, so this long play that I found is, like, 17.5 minutes long. How long did I play this for? I wasn't keeping track of time, but it feels like I was playing it for about that long. Yeah, I think it really is just looping the same few levels over and over. It doesn't even tell you how many levels are on this. Which is kind of annoying, but... Yeah, I think... Yeah, so it does seem like there are 5 levels to this game. And then after you beat level 5, it just loops. Or no, it's level 4, actually, and then it loops, because if there were more than 4 levels, they would have noted them on the retro achievements, so I'm going to count that as a win. So there we go, Tiger-Heli, completed. Or, well, as complete as you could be, really, without just looping the game endlessly. So, there we go, 64, the magic number. Speaking of magic numbers, it's time for the 33rd page, which will not be page 33, because I've just done that one. It's page 1! Yes, finally, after like 16 and a half streams, I finally get to play these games that we keep seeing every single time I load the console up. So we get to play some Ninja Turtles and Contra. Yes. So, Ninja Turtles 1, 2, 3, and 4. Contra 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, and 8. You know, because I love Contra 7 and Contra 8. Okay, you know, I'm just going to play Ninja Turtles 1 just to get this out of the way. Also, let me, oh. No, apparently the thing just started up on its own. I need to reset, because for some reason, unplugging that controller causes it to just press start for no reason. If I can plug the regular one back in. Okay, let's do it. Yes. Geki Kame Ninja Den, because they couldn't be bothered to source an English language version of this game. That apparently was too much effort. But it is Ninja Turtles, recognisably so. But this was Ninja Turtles at a time when they hadn't actually localised it in Japan yet. Like, Japan had not heard of Ninja Turtles at this point. So they just called it something else, but it's still based on that. It's still licensed from it. So you just end up with this weird game where they kind of rewrote the story a bit. Yeah, so I think you can skip levels. I won't do that, though. I am actually just going to play this game normally and see how far I get. Maybe I'll try that level select thing once I'm done. Yeah, I will say this game... I'll say one thing for this game. It's got a good soundtrack. Cannot front on this game's soundtrack. Also, yeah, so you have... So you got Leo, Raph, Mike, and Don. We all know that Don is the best character because he has the biggest weapon and it also does the most damage. So we've got pizza there in case I need it. Yes, they rewrote it a bit, so they just decided... Yeah, we just decided that April O'Neil is now Splinter's daughter for some reason. You know, that famous plot arc from Ninja Turtles. Also, I just do this. Boom. You do randomly get weapons from enemies in this too. But it is random. I don't think there's a way to do that intentionally. So, like, the amount of enemy spawns in this is crazy. Like, this game is infamous. Like, infamously hard. And infamously jank, too. Like, I remember Displaced Gamers did a whole series of videos just on this game. Because it is so messed up that, like... It's like, how did the game get released in this state? Also, like, you see just how, like, cheap the bosses are, too. They kind of just try to occupy the space you're in, so you just get hit a lot. Yeah, the amount of glitchiness in this game is crazy. And this isn't a case of this console being weird. Like, this is just how the game is. Like this game just... There's so much flickering you wouldn't believe. Like, look at this. And, like, you'll see, like, the status bar flash a lot, and... Yeah. And also, like, a Chainsaw Man. You know, the famous Ninja Turtles characters. You know, Baxter Stockman. You know, you got Baxter Stockman, you got the Rat King, you got Krang, and you have Chainsaw Man. You know, he was my favourite. Also, yeah, the enemies just respawn constantly, too, because the designer wanted to be a dick. And, yeah... I always think of the AVGN's review of this game. It's funny, too, because, you know, last week I played Back to the Future, which was one of the first games he ever reviewed. And now I'm playing this game, which is another one of the first games he ever reviewed. And, yeah, this game is infamous, and rightly so. Like, this is probably one of the most played games on the system that's not good. Like, this is a game that even though it's not a very good game, everyone has played it. I think just because of the license. It's like Ghostbusters or like the Simpsons games. Like, the game isn't well liked, but everyone's played it because of the license. Just because everyone wanted a Ninja Turtles game. And to be fair, Konami games were typically good. Not always, but a lot of the time, you know, there was a lot of real quality to them. And then you have this game, which is just... yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm sure a lot of games, you could find glitches on them if you really wanted to look, but you don't really have to look very hard in the case of this game. It feels like you have to look... you have to make much less of an effort to look for them than most other games. Just, I don't know. It's like they took... what was the other game they did on the Famicom? I'm trying to remember the name. Like, the one where you got those platforming bits that go to the left. Is it Getsu Fumaden, I think it's called? But yeah, like, you see, like, the status bar just, like, flickering constantly. Yeah, this game is just like that. And, like, you see just the sheer amount of enemy spawns, too. Like, you thought the last game could get aggressive. This is 10 times worse. Like, it feels like whoever made this game just had it out for the Ninja Turtles fans. It's like, how dare you desecrate our country's farmer workforce? We're gonna make you suffer with this game. That's what this game feels like to me. But yeah, now of course I'm gonna show off one of the all-time classic moments of this game. One of the real defining moments. So, anyone who's ever seen the AVGN's video, or has probably played this game, will know this. Like, so of course you have to fight Rocksteady. And then you have to, like, hit him when he's sort of ducking. And then, yeah, this is how you win. you just hit him when he's, like, ducking to try to... I don't even know what he's doing. He's doing something. Yeah. Again, you do not have to look very hard to find the glitches in this one. I will try to see if I can beat the... like, the dam. Because the dam in this is quite notorious. And in fact, there was a whole video about the dam too. Okay, let's play with Mike. See what he's about. You know, if nothing else, I do really like the soundtrack. Like, the soundtrack in this is pretty banging. You know, like, Konami, they knew how to get they knew how to get the most out of the sound chip, that's for sure. It's got solid tunes in these. Even if the game itself isn't great, at least it's got that. Actually, might not be a bad option here. But yeah, the characters are just straight unbalanced too. Where just, you know, it's like Don just straight up does way more damage than everyone else. And like, I never figured out how you meant to fight the bosses effectively. I don't know, it just feels like no matter what I do, I always take a couple of hits. Unless there's a way to glitch the game out, like with Rocksteady, but that's about it. So, get some Leo's health back. At least the game has, like, a fair few health power-ups. Also, the jumping in this is messed up, where you have, like, several different types of jump states the game switches between. So that's the high jump. Hold on. Yeah. There's like the low jump, there's the medium jump. So basically if you hold down the button for a certain number of frames, it does different types of jumps. And you really have to know that to do certain jumps later on in the game, where you have to do kind of a medium height jump, and if you do a high jump, you miss it. Because you like hit your head on the ceiling, and then the game just says no. Yeah, so like there, you have to do a low jump, otherwise you bounce off the ceiling and miss it. See, like this I've never understood. Like, it just makes you fight random enemies for no reason. Like, in order to progress. It's like a clearing in an old school beat-em-up, except it makes less sense. It's like, yeah, we'll just waste your time with this. Like, why do I have to fight this random enemy? Like, there are just a lot to this game that I've never been able to make sense out of. It's just like things that just exist for the sake of existing, like, just to kind of waste your time. And, yeah, as I say, this definitely has the reputation as being the worst of all these Ninja Turtles games, or certainly on the NES anyway. Granted, I would much rather play this than, you know, Ninja Turtles 3 on Game Boy, because that game is horrible. Also, you can do this. So, I can just give Raph these boomerangs, because Raph is generally the character you don't want to be playing as. Unless he's got, like, a cool secondary power-up. And, yeah, the DOS version of this, literally, you have to hack the game in order to beat it, because there's a jump where you can't make it, because they altered the level design a bit, and it, like, breaks the game. Okay, we'll switch back to Mike. Yeah, the lack of range on a lot of these weapons just... it's kind of a drag. Thankfully, this weapon does decent damage at least, so it could be worse, but yeah, this is kind of like The Simpsons, you know, what was it, Bot versus the Space Mutants? Just in the sense that it's like, here's a game that's not very good, but everyone has played it, even despite that. And, like, the amount of just random enemy spawns, too, just, ugh. Yeah, again, if you don't do a low jump there, you're missing that jump. Also, these enemies just kind of exist to be annoying. It's like, we have to do something with this overworld screen. Yeah, so here's the infamous part. Let's see how far I get with this. Oh, also I forgot that those things exist. And I forgot that you have to mash the A button to like, swim up. Because the game felt like being that way. Also, there's, like, currents everywhere, so you just get sucked into random places. Like I'm just getting sucked to the right now. Like, how are you meant to do that without taking damage? Like, it's impossible. Oh, I wish I could walk over it. Like, I wish I could walk over this whole game. I suppose technically I could with this version, because there is a level select code, but... Also, yeah, the hitboxes there are broken. If you go the top route, you're just going to get hit. Because the hitboxes don't actually match the sprite. It's confusing. Also, yeah, you see the gap there, too. You get a gap of, like, maybe a second. And it's like, oh, no, you're dead. Yeah, by the way, if you miss this, you lose. Yeah, so I just have to, like, use up all my health to get through this one part. And, yeah, I don't remember how the hitboxes in this section work. Like, the hitboxes just seem to work just... Well, they work in the sense that they don't work. Let's put it that way. Like, everything is, like, off. For the most part. Like, it's funny, the hit detection with these things kind of works. Like, you can get it within the pixel. But nothing else really seems to work as it's supposed to. And there's also just, like, currents. It's a bit like, what was that one Sonic game on Game Gear? Sonic Blast, where they have those currents that are invisible and you have no idea they're there. Also, it doesn't even tell you how many things you have to defuse. Oh, no, hold on. Okay, so it says I've one left, so I think it's just... Oh! Yeah, of course the designer was a dickhead and just have that... It's like, no, that just kills you. Because we're arseholes when we designed this game. So basically, if you lose there, you've lost before you even do anything, so... Ugh. You know, sometimes I can beat this game. Well, I can't beat this game. I can beat this level. But, you know what? I don't feel like beating this level today. In fact, I'm gonna show you the best part of this game. I'm going to show you the best part of this game, which is not playing it. Let's put it that way. God. Yeah, I genuinely do feel bad for anyone who was stuck with this game back in the day. Like, they had to play this glitchy piece of shit, and not, like, Ninja Turtles 2 the arcade game, or, like, you know, the one on the SNES or whatever, which are, like, a billion times better. Now, if you press select a bunch of times, you can actually just straight up skip levels. So, like, here we are just skipping all the way to level 6, because this is the only way anyone's ever getting this far. God, I mean, anyone who can actually beat this game without, like, using Game Genie or whatever, ugh. I do not envy those people. Like, you know what? I don't think I want to spend the amount of time it takes to learn this game. Like, if there's one thing that this series has enlightened me on, it's that, you know what? The majority of the games out there, I don't really want to learn them for more than a few minutes. I'm just going to leave a lot of these games to other people. You know, I've beaten 64 games on this console, and considering my level of skill, that's actually pretty good. I mean, it's surprising I even beat 20. Maybe I'll go to the other Ninja Turtles games later. So, you know what? Let's play a good game. Let's play some Contra 1. Now, Contra on these plug-and-play systems tends to be quite interesting because they tend to put these trainer menus where you've got all these different options. So, what these actually do, so this top option is just the regular game. 30p, that's just entering the Konami code for you, so you get the 30 lives without having to press, you know, the Konami code. Then you got these modes where it changes the default gun to a different one, and then you essentially have a level select, so you can just start on different levels. Now, I think, if I remember correctly, these weapons, so you have the machine gun, the fire gun, and the spread gun. I think that's what these are. Weirdly enough, they don't have the laser listed here. I don't know why. You know, just to take advantage of this trainer menu, I really want to try playing through the game with just the fire gun and see how far I get, because that sounds interesting. And to be fair, I have beaten this game on stream before, and, you know, doing just another regular run of Contra just doesn't sound that interesting to me, so we're going to play loop gun mode. Ugh. Now, you want to talk about possibly the greatest game on this entire plug-and-play. This might be it. We may be playing it right now. Well, I'm not playing it. Yeah, so this is the fire gun, which always worked kind of weirdly compared to the sequels. There we go. Collect the R power up. Is this where they took the sound from for Universe Soldiers? No relation to Universal Soldier, the 1992 film starring Dolph Lundgren and Jean-Claude Van Damme. Actually, it's funny, this bears more of a resemblance to that than Universe Soldiers does. But yeah, this is pretty much just the regular gun, except it fires in a weird arc. Yeah, I mean, the laser is definitely the worst gun, though, because it has less range than this, and you can only fire one laser on screen at a time. I get why, it's just not a good weapon. Oh, is it Twin Bee free? Yeah, let's see if I can beat Contra today. So I definitely want to get the R. Now, I think if I get killed, it, like, resets me to this gun. Just because of the way they hacked the game. So, like, if you pick that spread gun mode, even if you die, you still have the spread gun afterwards. So, yeah, suffice to say, it makes the game a little bit easier. But I'm going to intentionally try to play this game without the spread gun. Here we go. Yeah, thankfully, here's a game I actually do know my way around. Like, there's only a handful of games on this console that I may be any good at. But this is a game I've got experience with. Yeah, it's one thing that's a little bit irritating about Contra. It's certainly the earlier games, where if you replace your power-up, you lose the R power-ups. Yeah, I mean, I will say this, the fire gun in Contra 2, or Super Contra, or whatever, is definitely the better gun. Okay, so here we go, collect yet another R. See, this is the trick, just make your bullets super fast. Like I'm doing right now. Oh, also slight graphical glitch there. I think that may just be, like, I think this may be like a mapper conversion. Because, yeah, this game normally uses, graphics. It stores graphics in RAM, and I don't think this console is able to do that. But let's see how far I get in this. Yeah, Contra, like, I genuinely think may be the best game on, like, on the NES. Like, if you were to ask me what is the greatest NES game of all time, I probably would say Contra. Certainly in the conversation. It's funny, too, because I tend not to agree with, like, the zeitgeist or, you know, popular opinion or whatever. Like, a lot of what people tend to say are, like, the best NES games are ones that I often just could not get into. Or, at the very least, not as much as people, you know, tend to say. Where often they'll say it's, like, the best game on the console or whatever, and I either just can't get into it, or I just don't like it as much. Like, I was playing Super Mario 3 recently, and that's a game I've tried to get into many times, and I've just never really been a huge fan of it. I don't know. It's funny, because I really like Mario 1 and 2 on the NES, but Mario 3, I just never liked it nearly as much. It kind of felt like a step back from Mario 2 to me. It's kind of like, you know, Mario 2 was kind of a step forward where the level's more exploration-based. Mario 3 kind of just reverted back to the first game. And I'm sure that there are some good reasons why. That there was just weirdness with the chronology of those games, but I don't know. I always much prefer the Mario 2 sort of style to Mario 3, personally. Like, I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there who prefer Zelda 2 to, like, the first one, or the one on SNES. I was never a Zelda 2 person, but, you know, it's one of those. I think Mario 3, actually, the controls always felt off to me. And there are so many games that came out afterwards that kind of just do what Contra 3 did, but just do it better. Not Contra 3, Mario 3. Though, I'm not gonna lie, I really do think this is the best Contra game. like, Contra is a series that just peaked with the first one. Like, the first one is so good that they just could not match it with the sequels. You know, and I'm not gonna diss on... Oh. Okay, there was ground down there, I don't know why it killed me. There was definitely... Okay, apparently if you scroll the ground down to where it's just barely visible, it no longer exists according to this game. Okay, here we go. And of course, the barrier spawns, like, just barely out of range of where I can collect it. Yeah, this is not the run. Today is not the run. But, you know. Maybe it's proof that the spread gun is just that good when it comes to beating this game. You just gotta use that. That's the secret of beating this game. Get the spread gun and never lose it. Also, yeah, the enemies do get more aggressive as you progress through the game, too. Thankfully, I can just do that. Oh. I can also jump off the platform. Okay, also I need to try to intentionally avoid getting the S. Because, again, this is just kind of a special challenge run. Because, again, I've beaten this game on stream. I don't want to just, you know, just play through the game just using the spread gun over and over. I want to do something different. And what happens when I do something different? I get killed. Naturally. Also, like, you see how, like, quickly the enemies respawn in this, too. Thankfully, it's not nearly as bad as, like, Ninja Turtles on the NES, but... yeah, it's there. Yeah, I don't know. Mario 3, it's just... some people say it's, like, the best game on the NES. I can't agree. I don't know what it is, but I just never liked it as much. Ooh, here we go. See how far I get with this boss fight. Ooh, that's one down. Can I take down the other one? Ooh. Yeah, there's a lot of Contra on this as well. I'm going to at least try to play all the Contra games on this today. I'd like to beat one of these Contra games too, just because the Contra games are so good. Yep, welcome to the Alien War. Okay, here we go. Welcome to what I would say is actually the hardest level in the game. At base 2, I feel like the difficulty actually peaks here and actually drops after this. I don't know, I was never great at these, like, into the screen levels. It's funny, too, because in a way this is actually easier than it is in the arcade game, just because you have infinite time. The arcade version, you had a time limit, and... yeah, made it kind of awkward. Also, I maybe should have gotten the turbo controller for this game. Or maybe I should have just equipped the machine gun, now that I think about it. I was going to do that. Maybe I'll do that for the next game, now that I think about it. You know, I'm just going to mash with both fingers. I say both as if I've got, as if I only have the two. Also, this level has so many screens too. It's like 15 screens you have to do. It's just, why is this level so long? So much longer than the first one. It's a gauntlet. Mind you, I say that, I say this is the hardest level. I'm probably going to beat this one and then just get killed a bunch of times on the next level. Because that's how it always seems to go on these streams. Oh, power up, give me that. Oh, you bastard. I can never really tell where the hitbox is on those. There we go. Ugh. You know what? This is the makeup for lost time with all the button mashing that I haven't done on the previous games. I really don't know what's going on with the rendering on those two. It just looks off. It's certainly not supposed to look like that. Ugh, okay. Oh, I think we're on the last screen. Yeah, because it's got that... Ooh. Sometimes you just have to camp and wait for the bullets to stop appearing. Okay, here we go. And now we have the hardest boss fight in the game. Like, this boss fight is like 10 times harder than everything else. I hate this boss. Like, if any boss is going to get me a game over, it's this one. Because you've got these things, and then, well, the main boss fight is actually a lot worse. Yeah, because you've got these things, like, I don't even know what they're supposed to be, like, just these weird spinning things that just kill you. As I have to fight Am I fighting the Decepticons? What's going on? Yeah, like, how are you meant to do this without getting hit a bunch of times? I don't know. Like, pretty much the only way to... Like, the only strategy here is to have the spread gun. It's the only strategy I could get to work. Basically, get the spread gun and don't lose it. Otherwise, you're kind of screwed when it comes to this boss, right? Like... You see how many hits these things take, too. And they have so many iframes compared to all the other bosses. In fact, I don't think the other bosses really have iframes. It's just... Yeah, of course, the worst boss in the game is the one that has it. Which is probably why it's the worst, but, you know. At least this weapon actually covers more spread than most of the other ones. So, this might actually be a decent weapon to have for this bit. Yeah, so now I can stand here. Hope the shots don't come from too far away. Yeah, unfortunately the way the flickering effects work on this boss, it doesn't look very good if you're not rendering in 60 FPS. Ugh, okay, I did it. You know what, even if I don't beat this game, I did that. I beat that boss, and you can't take that away from me. Also, maybe having beer on stream is not is not the best idea. Remind me to only drink water from this point out. In fact, yeah, I think I will actually need to take a break after this game. Just so I can do that. Ugh. Okay. I don't remember where the power-ups are. I'm pretty sure all the ones that are in the walls, fairly certain those only give you weapons. I think. Oh, is this the part where the enemies start, like, going prone to shoot you? It's kind of a shame they didn't put the Famicom version of this on here, because the Famicom version, funnily enough, as good as this is, the Famicom version's even better. Because it has sort of, like, extra graphical effects that you don't have in this release. Because, yeah, basically Nintendo would get, and wouldn't let Konami use their own custom mappers. Because this ran on, I think it was the VRC2 mapper, which basically had extra features that I guess Nintendo mappers couldn't really do at the time. So the game had to be cut down to be working, to like work on Nintendo's boards. And it's a shame, because you know what? That Famicom version is so good. Does non-alcoholic beer make you dehydrated? 'Cause I know regular beer does. I actually don't know about the non-alcoholic variation. But anyway, yeah. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break so I can get myself some squash. I will be back in a couple of minutes, so don't go away. I'll probably play some Contra 2, I think. So I'll be back soon. Don't go away. And we're back, ready to play some more Contra. Yes, Contra 2. Let's do it. So we have we have all your favorites. We have Super Contra. We have Shotgun, Flame Gun, Gunshot Elt, Cannon Gun, as opposed to a non-cannon gun. The Raposhord gun, and then we have all these ones, which So I think these start you off on different levels. So, like, I assume Contra 8A starts you off on level 8. So, what do we have here? So, like, which of the... Like, what do these guns even do? So I'm going to assume... If I remember this correctly, I don't think Super Contra actually starts you off with the default settings. I don't think there is a way to start this with the regular gun, because they kind of hacked this, so that I think that the machine gun is the default weapon. Yeah. In fact, yeah, with my response to how we're playing that last game.
Quit your jibber jabber! You ain't hurt! You pathetic!
There we go. Got to get that in. But yeah. Shotgun, I assume, is spread gun. Flame gun, that's got to be the flame gun. But there's also an upgraded version of the flame gun, which I'm guessing is what this one is. Maybe. Cannon gun? Is that the laser? Like, is that the laser? I mean, it may as well be for all I know. Yeah, I really want to see the Raposhord gun. Like, what is Raposhord? Also, yeah, Super Contra. So this is, yeah, the Japanese version. But I think the only real differences are the title screen, and I think the lives code is different. Where, yeah, if I remember correctly, the Famicom version, you enter the lives code and you get 30 lives, I think. But in this one, you only get... Oh no, in the American version, you only get 10 lives, which is a bit odd. And I'm sure in the European version, you did actually get 30 lives, too. Also, this is a weird gun. I don't think this actually corresponds to anything. Like, I don't remember this gun from the original. I don't know if they just hacked it in, or if it was, like, some other weapon that ended up just being scrapped. Is it more powerful than the other guns, maybe? Like, maybe this tears through the more powerful enemies and fewer hits or something. But I want to try just playing the game with this, just because I want to see how this affects the game. And besides, I've already beaten this game on stream before anyway, so if I don't beat it today, it's not really a big loss. Yeah, it's definitely not the flame gun, because I know that explodes when it hits the ground, where this just kind of passes through the ground. Okay, now, again, I'm going to kind of deliberately avoid the spread gun for this run. Just because, yeah, I want to see how I do without that. Yeah, this just seems to tear through the multiple hit enemies and fewer hits. So this may not be a bad gun, actually. Certainly if you have a turbo controller plugged in, which right now I do not. Although this doesn't have those into the screen levels that the first game has. It has... Okay, what am I supposed to do there? Okay, explain that to me, game. Like, there's literally no way to do that without getting hit. Like, sometimes the enemies just spawn in ways that you can't avoid them. Which kind of sucks. I'd much prefer if the game just didn't have randomly spawning enemies, really. But yeah, I think this is like somewhere between the flame gun and the laser. Like, it's got similar... It's like the laser, but you can shoot multiples of it. Which may actually make it really good for bosses, actually. Like, you see how quick that was? I don't think even the spread gun could do it that fast, or certainly similar anyway. Maybe this is a good way to play through this if you got a turbo controller plugged in, which again I do not. You can probably tell from just how sporadic the firing is. If I was just holding down turbo B the whole time, I'd be seeing a lot more shots than this. No, stop randomly spawning gits in. There we go. Yeah, I remember this. So, there you go. I fight 2 of them! Okay, that's 1 down. Oop, extra life, cool. I am down for that. Ugh. Also, having a gun with short range, you don't really want that on this level. Like, yeah, you see how hard it is to hit the enemies, or even just to, like, get the power-ups to spawn. Like, yeah, like, I know the weapons on this stage have a limited range anyway, but I think if you get a bunch of, like, R power-ups, they get more range, or something like that. I mean, there was that game Operation C on Game Boy, which is kind of similar to this. Even though it has the soundtrack from the first Contra, but sure. Or recreation of it. Yeah. Again, I'm pretty sure you can't normally... Oh, okay, that bullet wasn't even close to where the enemy, like, shot it from. That doesn't even make sense. I don't know if the game just glitched out. Yeah. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna get very far with this gun. Yeah, you want to know... Basically, you want to know why people just use the spread gun for everything? Well, this stream shows you why. Can I even hit this boss? Yeah. See, here's the thing. This is one of those bosses where if you have the spread gun, you can tear through it in like 5 seconds. If you don't have the spread gun, you're going to be doing this for a while. I genuinely can't even tell if my shots are connecting with boss or not. Like, it's not obvious. But look at this. Like, see the lack of range on this? Okay, maybe this gun sucks. Oh, but I did it. Okay, pro tip. Don't try to play through this whole game with this gun. Unless you're just that good, which sadly I'm not. I'm good enough to beat this game. At least with the spread gun. But, yeah, without that, it's kind of a struggle. Also, yeah, the jungle. You know, it's really funny too. Like, I started these streams back in January, and yeah, kind of hurtling towards the summer at this point. Yeah, I don't know if this affects the range if you get the R on these levels or not. I don't think it does. It doesn't seem like it. Yeah, look at this. Like, what even hit me there? Like, I literally crashed into nothing. Like, I went, like, a few inches of the side of that turret and somehow I died. Yeah, you want to know why Super Contra isn't quite as good as the first one? It's just a whole bunch of weirdness that just, yeah, just doesn't work as well. Though, granted, if I was playing for the spread gun, I'd be doing better at this. But I think that's true for pretty much anyone who's not, like, you know, anyone who isn't, like, an idiot savant at these games is, yeah, it's pretty much going to be true. Okay. Yeah, so I started this back in... Well, I think it was actually on the 31st of January, so it's more like... Well, less than 5 months, but... You know, let me just have a look at those other options on the menu. I want to see this. So, if I go on, like 7C, what is this? So 7C, is this game like spread gun or something? Yeah, okay, so it's level 7, but you have the spread gun. Yeah, here's the thing, if you just have the spread gun for the whole game, this is a lot easier. As any Contra fan can tell you. Certainly when it comes to these NES games, at least. Like, look at this. Tear through these enemies like they're nothing. Also, it is funny that the game just turns into an alien war later on. I don't know. I mean, I've always preferred the first Contra game to this. This is a very good game. You know, like, if I was to make, say, like, a top 100 games NES list or whatever, like, this game would have to be in there, because I don't like it as much as the first one. I don't think the levels are quite as inspired. And, yeah, I mean, level 6 in particular just kind of sucks. Like, that game is just kind of overly cheap in ways that aren't really fun. But it's still a very good game. Like, it's, you know, it is still not far off from the original in terms of quality. Like, you know, you definitely still want to play it. But then you've also got Contra 3, 6, 7, and 8. You know, let's play Ninja Turtles 2. Just have a quick go on this. Maybe I'll do the other ones next time. I suppose it depends on how long these games take, really. But, yeah, play some Ninja Turtles 2. So, we have Leo, we have Mike, we have Raph, and we have Don. You know what? Michelangelo really liked pizza, and I also really like pizza. So let's go for Mike. I don't remember if any of the turtles play differently in this one or not. But yeah, if you don't know, so this is actually a conversion of the arcade game, hence the name Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. Because I think they kind of realised that no one actually liked the first game. Like, the first game was, yeah, a bit rubbish. So they were kind of like, yeah, what if we made a good game based on this license? So let's take the arcade game and just port that over to the NES. And, yeah, certainly this game is far better than the original. Though, it's also a game where you really want to be playing this co-op. It's not quite the same if you're just playing on your own. That's really kind of the issue with this one. Some games are just like that. I mean, Contra is arguably like that to some extent, but I would say more so for this game, and the sequel, like Ninja Turtles 3. They're just games where you really want a second player to get the most out of it. I mean, the arcade version, you actually have 4-player support, but, you know, of course, they couldn't do that on the NES. Well, actually, they probably could, technically. There was the 4-score adapter, but the NES probably didn't have the juice to do a 4-player version, considering, you know, the size of the sprites and how many characters you would need on screen. forget exactly how the controls work. Is this one of those games where if you press both of the face buttons at the same time, that it does like a special attack where you lose health for doing it? I think this is one of those games. Like, I know Mighty Final Fight is one of those. And regular Final Fight. I can't remember if this game does it, but I think it is. Yeah, these sequels are... Yeah, in fact, I mean, the AVGN himself said it, where... Yeah, he's like, you may even think I'm trying to compare it to the sequels, which are far superior. You know. Because this is far superior to the first one. Like, this game actually works. I don't know. I must admit, I was never really that good at these games. I never quite figured out the feel of the combat. But that's not really an issue with the game. That's just, I never maybe spent as much time with these games as I ought to. I don't know. I mean, I think I've beaten a few of those Konami arcade beat-em-ups, like the arcade ones specifically. Like Mystic Warriors, I think I beat that game. I definitely beat Metamorphic Force and the Simpsons arcade game. In fact, I actually played through the Simpsons one last year. Because I went to an arcade in, I think it was Stoke-on-Trent, that had a Simpsons cabinet. And me and a friend, we just ended up just playing through the whole thing. So I've played through that game. It's not a great game, necessarily, though certainly a lot better than the nonsense that Acclaim was putting out on consoles at the time. The fact that that got passed over in favour of, like, Bartman meets Radioactive Man is tragic. Because even if I'm not a huge fan, it is still a far better game than that. And it makes me sad. Those Simpsons NES games make me sad. Well, I say NES, I mean, they were ported to other consoles. Like the first one, I know was on Master System and Mega Drive. Now, I think Bob vs. the World was on Master System as well, wasn't it? I almost just want to go back and just play all the Master System stuff. Also, I forget if there's, like, a trick to this, like, keep just doing the jump kick move. Yeah, the score system in this is a bit odd, because you get 1 point every time you defeat an enemy. Which is a good way of keeping track of how many enemies you've defeated, but the fact that they keep it as, like, a point system just makes it look odd. Mind you, I would take this over, like, Double Dragon on the NES, honestly. I think if only because, like, this game has co-op and Double Dragon doesn't. Like, Double Dragon 2 does. And I kind of want to go back and do that co-op. Wait, I thought you said you get an extra life every 50 points. Well, I got 50 points. Oh, hold on. No, I think I misread it. Oops. Sorry. I'm sure Ninja Turtles 3, you had more attacks, I think. Like, I remember if you press down and B, it does, like a special kind of attack move. Certainly, if you play as Leo and Don, I think, they can, like, grab the enemies. And that was, like, quite an effective tool. Unfortunately, I don't think this game has that. Or if it does, it's a different button combination that I can't remember. I'm trying to think if I ever beat Ninja Turtles 3. I know I've played it, like, net play, but I don't recall if I ever finished it. Oh, here we go. Now I gotta fight whatever these things are. I can't remember. Oh yeah, it's the laser enemies. Ugh. Yeah, I'm probably gonna get killed here, but, you know, so be it. You know, it's kind of a shame that, like, the first Ninja Turtles game was, like, literally one of the biggest selling games on the console. More so than, like, the sequels were. Because these are the games that everyone should have played. Though granted, I would say the best one is probably Ninja Turtles 4 on the SNES. That game is really good. I was never a big SNES fan, but I do enjoy that game. And, is this, like, do you fight Rocksteady at the end of this? Or am I just thinking of the first game again? There we go. Yeah, Ninja Turtles are cool. It's just one of those things that's inherently cool just in concept. And, you know, and to be fair, a lot of the games are good. It's just the first one is definitely not one of them. And I just like April O'Neil just kind of dancing around in the background, too. It's been so long since I saw the cartoon, actually. Like, I used to have a couple of VHS tapes of just the show. And, yeah, Turtles in Time, Ninja Turtles 4 on the SNES. That game is really good. That I want to say is maybe the best of the Ninja Turtles NES games. It's up there. Oh, yeah, I do want to play this co-op now. Here we go. Rocksteady in the house again. Yeah, you see the way he kind of like blinks when he's low on health. See, I like that. At least it lets you know that you're about to potentially about to win. Thankfully, Rocksteady's not that hard. Like I remember like Ninja Turtles 4, where you have Slash and he's just like insanely hard, and I could never quite figure it out. You know, I don't think I've ever played Hyperstone Heist. I know it's meant to be quite similar, but I think it has different levels and enemy types and such. Like, Tournament Fighters is weird too, where you got like different versions, and they're essentially all different games. No, we'll actually see the NES version on here as well, I think. But yeah, what's really good about this is, yeah, it's actually unhacked, unlike the first game. I'm hoping that Ninja Turtles 3 and 4 are not copyright hacked, because I think both of those games have copy protection, where basically if copyright's hacked out, then it like makes the games impossible. I know Ninja Turtles 3 does that. I'm pretty sure Tournament Fighters does as well. So I guess we'll have to see how that works. Hopefully that won't be an issue. But yeah, if I start up like Ninja Turtles 3 and they've taken out all the copyright, be forewarned, it is literally impossible. Actually, here's a question. If Tournament Fighters, if they've done it with that game, should I just try to play through the tournament mode? Because I know there's a tournament mode you can set up in that game, and I know that with the hacked versions, the story mode is literally impossible, because basically you get to Shredder, and I think he has like infinite health, or... No, I think basically if you beat Shredder, it just resets the fight, and just does that forever, and there's no way to get the ending. And they kind of made it so it's like near impossible to beat, if not impossible. And, yeah. So, yeah, if it's a problem with that game, then maybe I'll just do the tournament mode and see if I can win there. I mean, I'm rubbish at fighting games anyway, but it'd be nice to have a go on that. Oh, you bastard. There we go. Yeah, net play. Wouldn't mind doing that with this. It's like, no, they just have sticks of dynamite that they just casually have laying around their pockets ready to explode. Ooh. They did add a couple levels to this too. Like, from what I remember, the arcade version, I think had like 5 or 6 levels. And then they added a couple of levels for this version. There we go, I got my health back. Which is good, because I was just about to die. And now I'm not going to die anymore. Not yet, anyway. Doubtless, like, by the time we get to the boss, I'll die. But... Also, the status bar is not helping here. Yeah, see, this is the strategy with a lot of these beam-ups. Just try to keep the enemies all on one side. So was the secret. Also, it's funny with this version, too, where they kind of just have these, like, Pizza Hut signs everywhere. Because the game had a sponsorship with Pizza Hut for the US version, but I don't think any of the other versions have that. Even though I'm pretty sure we definitely had Pizza Hut over here by the time this game came out. But, yeah, they just... but yeah, they just didn't bother to get that for this for the European release. And presumably the Australian one as well. I mean, I guess it makes sense, considering the turtle's favourite food. Oh, sod off. There we go. Also, yeah, the Ninja Turtles games, they have different names in different regions, because of course in the UK they had to change it to Hero Turtles, because one man had a stick up his arse at the BBEFC about nunchucks. And so, because of that man being an arsehole, they had to change the name of the show. And, yeah, eventually, by the time that man passed away, they kind of just decided to revert that. It's like, yeah, this doesn't really make any sense. But yeah, the Japanese titles of these games are different. Like, as you saw earlier, like, the first game just had a different title for whatever reason. I think just because the show hadn't been translated yet. But I think by the time this sequel had come out, they had brought the show over to Japan. So, yeah, it didn't really make sense to rebrand it as something else by that point. It didn't really make much sense in the first place, though, because it's not like they reskinned it into its own original thing. It wasn't like they turned it into their own original IP. Yeah, so that's the do the attack that makes you lose your health for doing it. Also, how big is this car? Like, that car must be big enough to fit, like, 50 people in it. Like, what's going on there? Oh, like, can I knock the enemies into the hole? Maybe not. Do they just go over the hole or not? Oh, yeah, I don't know what you're supposed to do here. Maybe this. There we go. Oh, now we've got Bebop in the house. And he also has a gun. Oh, I forget. Is it like the insta-kill gun? Or am I thinking of the final boss from the first game? Yeah, where you see like the projectile they shoot at. I think that does actually just insta-kill you, doesn't it? Okay, I think this is the secret. You gotta just jump kick him over and over and hope for the best. Problem is, he keeps getting cheap hits in because he's an arsehole. Like, sometimes he just gets a hit in before you can even do anything. Yeah, see, this is why you need a second person for this, because doing this solo, yeah, good luck. Especially when, like, you don't even get a chance to move out of the way, because it's one of those games. Also, you have to redo the whole level if you get game over, and, you know, even if I wasn't doing the whole, like, one credit run thing, yeah, I wouldn't bother. My rule of beat 'em ups is, if I can't continue from the spot where I died, I'm not playing it. Typically, anyway. You know, let's, so we have Contra 3, Contra 6, Contra 7, and Contra 8. Also, I do have the Ninja Turtles collection on Switch, which I think has all of the NES games on it. But yeah, Contra 3, which is not Contra 3, it's Contra Force, which is a completely different game. Great. But, yeah, here we go. Hi, it's me, Fox. Is that you, Burns? Yeah, see, I remember, you know, all my favourite Contra characters like Burns and Fox. You know, you can never go wrong with them. You know, screw Bill. It's all about Fox and Bill. Not Bill. No, Bill couldn't be bothered for this one. They're just like, yeah, I'm just going to save my energy for the better Contra games, like Contra 3, which actually came out the same year as this, funnily enough. Contra Force. Also, I get the feeling that blob on the top left is supposed to be red, and like Nintendo of America made them change it. Yes, the Switch title does say Ninja, because by this point they kind of gave up on the whole Hero Turtles thing. Again, it was only called that over here because one man at the BBFC was an arsehole. But here's the thing. I'm actually not going to play Contra Force. And there's a reason why. So we have Burns, Smith, Iron, and Beans. Now, I'm not going to play this one. And you want to know why? Here's the thing. Contra 6 is essentially the same game. But with a few changes. So first off, okay, we're in 1992, apparently. So they just replaced the graphics with 6 Super Contra. Also, it's the same storyline, so we're just going to start. So, yeah, we get a much better cast of characters in this one. So, yeah, we actually got Bill this time, who wasn't in the other version. So this is automatically the superior version. But we also have Rambo, who looks a lot like Bill from the first game. Guile, who I... Isn't that graphic taken from Macari 3? And Ryu, which I think that may be one of the Lee brothers from Double Dragon. Yeah, I think that may be Bimmy. Okay, who should we play as? You know, let's, I want to be Rambo. Because there is no Rambo game on this, I want to at least get to play as Rambo in a game on this collection. I do have the Rambo Famicom game. It's on a multi-card that I have. Unfortunately, it's all in Japanese. And it's actually, like, surprisingly story-heavy for a game based on Rambo. Not necessarily what you would think. Yeah, by the time we got the 2003 cartoon, they kind of just reverted to the original name, which is fine by me. Okay. Now, there's a lot of weirdness with this. Okay, so first off, the player sprite in this, I think, is different to the original. In this ROM hack, because this is a ROM hack of Contra Force, in case you couldn't tell, they changed the sprite to just Bill's sprite from Contra. Like, I think this is the sprite from the first game. And they've just inserted that into this game. Because, I mean, the game was already called Contra Force, so it makes sense to have this sprite in it. But you've also got the power-up system on the bottom, which is similar to the power-up system in Gradius. So, like, you press select, and then it gives you that weapon upgrade. It's an odd game. It takes a bit of getting used to. So, like, okay, so, like, here, if I press select... Hold on. Yeah, there we go, so now it starts to work. Yeah, so if I press select, it gives me a machine gun instead of the generic gun. Also, you have this, where you can have... It'd be really funny if I could just play all of them simultaneously, but yeah, it's not quite that messed up. But yeah, this does have 2-player, thankfully, because you kind of need that for Contra. But you've also got this: front cover, back cover, round cover, front keep. So, is this like an American football game? What's going on? But yeah, you can basically summon a computer-controlled teammate who will essentially try to protect you. It's a really weird game. Like, if you've never played Contra Force, like, it is kind of messed up. Also, you can just go back here. If you want to just, like, grind power-ups, you can actually do that in this. Although it does also respawn the enemies, so do be wary of that. But yeah, so, like, I don't even know what these power-ups do. Like, you have the R power-up, which I think maybe... I want to say that works the same as the R power-ups in the previous games. HM, I think, is homing missile. TI, I have no idea. Like, maybe it just summons the Rapper. And RA, again, I have no idea what that does. So, I think... Yeah, so I think what I want here is just the HM. Just give me homing missiles and I'm good. Yeah, so... It's not really homing, though. Well, actually, it kind of is. Where it kind of just glides upwards, and then it will eventually aim for any enemy that's on screen. By the way, you also cannot make this jump, I don't think. Certainly not this dude. Ryu can't make it. Ryu, of course, famed for his jumping abilities and his ability to fire guns. It's really funny, too. There's a ROM hack of G.I. Joe on the Famicom called Contra Fighter, where you actually play as, like, Street Fighter 2 characters. Like, Ryu is in that game, too. So I guess B is, yeah, it's that one. Yo, let's just play as Bill. I want to play as Bill, who for some reason is blue in this one, even though I think normally that's... Isn't Lance normally the blue one, or am I remembering that wrong? Also, I can apparently collect tuberculosis, one of the TMs from Pokemon, TI the Rapper, and rest apples. Receive apples. Yeah, my favourite. So here we go. If I summon Rambo to assist cover, what does this do? So here we go. He kind of just shoots forward. Yeah, this is really weird, because they just... You can summon a computer-controlled player, except they only appear on screen for about 10 seconds. Also, just look at the sheer amount of slowdown. Like, I know... Like, Ninja Turtles 1 had really bad slowdown. This may actually be worse. Like, again, there's a video on YouTube that just goes into just how, like, messed up this game is from a technical standpoint. Not that the game itself is bad, but just... Yeah, there's just a lot of problems in terms of how this runs. So what does TM do? Oh yeah, this is the bomb. Hold on, let me, I don't want to play as Bill for this part. I want to play as... Rambo. Let's do back cover. Because there's a dude there's trying to kill me. Yeah, thankfully, the friendly shots don't actually kill you, so there is that. Wait, did I lose the weapon? Wait, why did I lose my weapon when I switched out? I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to do that. Also, here's what's really annoying too. Is, yeah, firstly, it just despawns the opponent. I do wonder if maybe they just plan to have some kind of full-on... like, some kind of full-on mode where you would have computer-controlled opponents for the whole game. but they couldn't figure out how to do it without, like maybe it was just really buggy, so at the last minute they were like, yeah, we can't get this to work, so we're just going to have it so that the computer opponent, the computer ally only appears on screen for 5 seconds, and it despawns them because there were a whole bunch of glitches that they couldn't fix. Yeah, here we go. So I don't even know what these things do. So, yeah, it kept this weapon, so why I lost the other one, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'll play as Guile. You know, he's got the rocket launchers. Pretty good. But, yeah, you see how poorly this game runs, too. It's kind of the biggest problem with it. Like, I've heard speculation that this game was maybe supposed to run on an MMC5 cartridge, but they just kind of cheaped out, like, late in production. And I could totally believe that. Like, Konami were very hit and miss, like, in the later days of the NES. Like, a lot of their later NES games were not great. Like, you know, Tiny Toon Adventures 2, for instance. Or, I'm trying to think what else. I can't think of other games they put out really late. I mean, they did put out that, like, weird King's Quest V port. I know they didn't actually make that one, but just the fact that they did it is just like, what? Like, why did you release this? Oh, and apparently if I collect the R power-up, it gets rid of the HM power-up. Like, there's no... Like, there's no... It's really unclear as to, like, what power-ups you're allowed to have, like, combinations of. Like, the game doesn't explain it anywhere. Maybe they explain it in the manual, but, you know, I don't have the manual, so it's not like that really help anyway. They did publish Noah's Ark, although that only got released in Europe, and again, they didn't actually make that themselves. That was Source, I think. I'm not familiar with Source, but they made, I think, like 2 NES games. Like, they made that, and then they made the Matchbox, like, driving game that almost looks like a really primitive version of GTA. Unfortunately, the game sucks. Also, yeah, get ready for the, yeah, for the boss. The bosses that take, like, a gazillion hits, by the way. Actually, you know, I'm going to play as Bill for this part. Also, you can only have 2 players on screen at once. Yeah, so here we go. So this is how you win. You just, like, spam bombs and just keep getting computer-controlled teammates to help out. Not that it really helps. I mean, from what I remember, the bosses tend to have a lot of iframes, I think. So I just keep doing this. I can't remember if the bosses can actually jump or not. Oh, I think I won. Also, look at the amount of effort they put into the boss's death animation. Also, for a second there, I thought the game crashed, but no, I just won. But yeah, I don't remember which power-ups you're allowed to keep and which ones replace other power-ups. Also, great dialogue, by the way. Oh no! They're getting away by ship! Yeah. This is a really weird game too. Like, I think in Japan this wasn't even supposed to be a Contra game, but that version ended up getting cancelled, and this is the one that got released. And, yeah. This game... You know what's funny? People often... When people talk about this game, they often just say, yeah, this game is really bad. I'm not sure I agree. Like, this is not a good game. Certainly you put it up against the other Contra games. It's a step below those, I would say. Like, it's... Yeah, I mean, you put this up against Contra 1, this is nothing compared to that, but... I've also played far worse. I mean, as you say, like, X-Men is a lot worse than this. Like, this game is probably one of the worst performing games on the NES in terms of just frame rate, but... Yeah, I mean, it's kind of in competition with, like, I guess, Son and, yeah, the first Ninja Turtles game. Maybe there's some other games too, I'm forgetting, but... Those are the ones that come to mind, anyway. Certainly the ones that I've played on this console. Oh, by the way, you can fall in the water, I think, too. I think. Pretty sure that's a thing this game does. So don't fall into it. Like, don't try to run off the edge, because the game will just kill you. That's what I remember. This game can be kind of cheap when it wants to be. Oh, also, here's a really fun part of this game. When you respawn, the screen doesn't scroll until your invincibility wears off. I have no idea why. It doesn't make any sense, and the other Contra games don't do that. Which, again, it just feels like a bug that they never got around to fixing. I think that's the problem. Like, if this game just ran better, it would probably be a far better regard. Like, if someone ported this game to a more robust mapper than this one, maybe this game would be, yeah, maybe this game would be well liked. But it was also having to compete with Contra 3, because that actually predates this. In fact, from what I remember, Konami were originally going to call this game Contra 3 in America. Like, that's what this game was originally going to be called. There actually are screenshots of Contra 3 on the SNES, like the real one, where it was originally going to be called Contra 4. But because this game got delayed, they ended up just reverting the title to what it's supposed to be. Like, this was originally going to be a numbered game in the series, and yeah, suffice to say, it's probably for the best that that never happened. Not only would it make the numbering more confusing, but yeah, this isn't really on that caliber. I mean, again, I don't necessarily love Super Contra, but it is 1,000 times better than this. Oh, look at this! Like, what is this invisible wall? Is this like a PS2 game from, like, Blast Entertainment? Like, what's... Like, look at this, I'm just stuck inside this area now. Like, it won't even let me exit. Unbelievable, as the game actually failed. Like, did I genuinely just soft-lock the game? Actually, I've got an idea. Watch this. Okay, I set this to 2-player. Oh, no, it spawns the second player on the exact same spot as the first one. Okay, that's not going to help. Yep, it's just turned into London Cab Challenge. I literally cannot get outside of this corner. Is this something you can do in the original, or is this just like... Oh no, okay, if I fidget around enough, it works. But it's like, man, like, how did the... Oh wait, you can blow up the helicopters? I didn't even realise that was a thing. Okay, well, I learned something new with this game. Like, look at this. Why can't the screen scroll after I've died? Like, they literally couldn't get that to work. Also, like, look at all the flickering on this bit. It's like... Yeah, it's a good thing I'm not playing this on cartridge, because I think the cartridge would melt in between the, like, just the constant lag and also just the weather. Yes, they are the ones that released Beverly Hills Cop. They didn't actually make it. They, you know, it was outsourced to someone else, but... Yeah. You want to talk shoes? Yeah, also look at the amount of hits the enemy's taking this too. Too many is the answer to that. Like, why are the enemies, like, 50 times bigger than you are? Like, I never understood that. Like, it's one thing I never liked about Super Dodgeball, like, the, most versions of that, where you have one player who's, like, 50 times bigger than all the other players, and it just looks stupid. Like, it just looks broken. It's like, okay, like, the game is not supposed to look like this. I think that's why I like the NES version. It's just because they changed that, so the game doesn't do that. The Poly Station. Who shall I play as? Let's play as Rambo. Front cover. Like, how does these even work? Oh, sorry, I didn't realise I had 2 players chosen, but sure. So I can just throw these things. Okay, I do like the fact that, yeah, these do just straight up look like the Contra protagonists, even if one of them did get stuck. Also, yeah, this part. Oh, also, note that I cannot pause the game at this point. I think, again, I'm just going to chalk that up to bugs that they just didn't feel like fixing. Also, my, like, weapon just disappeared. Okay, you want to talk broken. Like, look at how, like, awful the sprite work is here, too. Like, how did they make it look this bad? Like, not only is the sprite, like, 50 times bigger than it should be, but even with, like, the extra detail, it still just looks terrible. this was a late era game too. Like, you think they could have done better by this point. Like, it's amazing just how much worse this looks as compared to, like, you know, Super Contra. Or, like, even the original Contra. Like, you compare it to the bosses from that. Some of them were really basic looking, but at least they didn't look goofy like this. And again, this is one of those where, again, the boss just takes, like, 50,000 shots just because they want to waste your time with that. It's like, how do we make the boss hard? I don't know. We'll just give it, like, 50,000 hit points. Because that's our idea of making a game challenging. Mind you, that basically was Konami's USA's whole idea of making games hard. Yeah. That's why they put more effort into the death animations than the rest of the game. Yeah. Also, yeah, the ultimate TV game. I want to talk about that classic. Also, what is that face? It's got like a nice mustache, I like that. Get to the Matty building. I kind of told this thing is, but apparently I can stand on it. I remember, now I remember, I used to have a multi-cart that had this game on it. And whenever I got to this level, the game would just crash. I wonder if it does it on here. I'm gonna guess probably not. Actually, I'm not sure. Like, does the game freeze on this level? That's what I want to know. It certainly feels like it's about to freeze at any moment. So is this the level where the lifts just explode? I think it might be this game. Or this level in this game. I do like the music on this level, I will say that. It's got some good audio. Also, like, you just see the glitchiness on the bottom of the screen too. Like why does the head-up display look like that? Like, it flickers so much. It is like Ninja Turtles 1 on the NES. And having just played that game today, I think I'm in a good position to say that. Also, no, apparently I went the wrong way. But there's no way to know that the first time. Yeah, what do we do with Contra? Let's just make the level into a maze. With lifts that... that move about 1 millimeter a year. Because that's how we make Contra even more exciting. It's bloody hell. Oh, also, your shots conveniently go over the enemies that you're trying to hit. Also, somehow I landed on that mine and it didn't kill me. So have fun with this bit too. So you have to go down here. But you don't know if there's going to be anything down there, but thankfully there's not. Oh, that's right. Yeah, there is an infinite jump glitch. I've forgotten about that. Maybe I'll show that off now. Watch this. So I'll pause the game, and then I'll go into the menu, I deselect the menu, and then it just lets me jump. Oh, also the boxes kill you. Just, you know what? Oh, great. It doesn't even let me pause when the computer's on screen. Like, it just prevents me from pausing. Yeah, I can see why this never got released in Japan. Like, it's surprising this game came out at all, given just how... like, yeah, jank it is. Like, again, like, it's what I was saying about Ninja Turtles 1. It's like, how was the game released in this state? Like, how did they release it like this? Wait, up and start? Wait, is that really a thing? Okay, I'm not going to do that, but I may test that out when I inevitably get game over. Oh, also the game just does that. You know what? Just for doing that, I'm going to do this. Let me guess, is this thing going to explode too? Oh, no, that's right, you can climb on this one. I forgot climbing is a thing in this game. It just doesn't feel like something you would have in a NES Contra. I think Contra 3 had that, but that was a SNES game. So we have to wait patiently in the queue. Oh, do I have to make the thing respawn? Like, what is with this part? Ugh. At least I can just hold down the button. It works. That's one change I actually do like, is the fact that you can just hold down the A button and it will just do the thing. And I also can't see what I'm jumping to. But it was onto a platform, so it could be worse. I like that shot through the pipes into the enemy. Oh, hold on. Is this like an auto-scrolling bit? What's going on? I don't remember this bit. Oh, that's right. Yeah, this is the bit with the flames. Also, with the ceiling, it just kills you randomly because the game felt like it. Yeah, I don't even know what you're supposed to do on there, but whatever. You know, I do want to try out that cheat code that you mentioned now, because now I'm interested. So, up and start. So if you hold up and start... Okay, so that does work. What happens if I do it again? Does it give me even more lives? It's like they knew no one wanted to play through this game without just having a ton of lives in stock. So they just decided to do you a solid. You know what, while we're at it, I think before I finish today, I think I'll leave these Ninja Turtle games for next time, because it's coming up to 6 PM. And this room is a bit toasty, so I think I'll play one more game for today. Gonna play some Contra 7. Oh yes. You ever played this one? Because I've certainly played this one. I've played this more than anyone probably should. Okay, here we go. Let's see how far we get with this one. Oh, I got the laser! Now I have to just try not to lose it. Yeah, weirdly enough, this is the game where the laser's actually really good. Also, the music in this is insane. Like, I don't know why the music is like this. It's like it's playing at double the speed. It's like Burble's music. Guess I'm just going to try desperately not to get killed. Oh, got the laser again. Yeah, by the way, the power-up spawns are completely random. Half the time, you can just go through a whole level, and it will only spawn, like, the item that just gets rid of all the enemies on screen. And the weapon... Well, the one that's not even a weapon, it just, like, maybe gives you a 1-up. And that's all it does. Also, look at how high the enemies jump in this, too. It's, like, double the jump height of all the other games. At least it plays... This actually plays more like Contra than the last game, which is quite funny. Considering, like, this is literally a bootleg. And this is more like Contra than the real Contra forces. Yeah, so this P power-up just gets rid of all the enemies on screen. Pretty much worthless, like, to the extent I wonder whether you even bother programming it. I think that's only just to make it so you're less likely to get a decent weapon from the pickups. Like, it just makes the item boxes less useful. So yeah, you do have to be careful with these random enemy spawns. You know, just like any other Contra game, to be fair. But yeah, it's kind of what I was talking about with Street Fighter 2010. Where, with that game... Like, that game bore so little resemblance to Street Fighter, where, like, the really shitty, like, Street Fighter bootleg on this console at least bears more of a resemblance to an actual Street Fighter game. It's like, yes, this is recognizable as Street Fighter. You wouldn't want to play it. Also, yeah, I like when the bullets don't actually connect. So yeah, see how fast the enemies move too. So from what I remember, the trick here is to just have the laser. Oh, what's this? Sometimes those things are like impossible to dodge. And I think it like spawns them semi-randomly too. Yeah, from what I remember, yeah, this is definitely, basically if you have the laser it's easier. Although, if you lose the laser, you're kind of in trouble. Though, this isn't actually that bad of a boss, even though sometimes it does that. Yeah, it's really funny. If you have the laser, you can beat it in like 15 seconds. If you don't have that, it's going to take a lot longer.
And this soundtrack.
Here we go. So here's the B, which, just like in all the other games, gives you invincibility for, like, 5 seconds. Like, literally. Like, again, it makes me wonder why they even bothered programming it into the game if it's going to be that short. Like, even in the other games, it lasts for, like, 15 seconds. So here we go. I've got my laser back. Though, actually, it may not be a great weapon to have for this part. You know, you gotta be careful with these boulders. There is a level in Super Contra that's kind of similar to this. Also, yeah, so I tried to jump there and the game just didn't let me. Like, the slopes just don't work the way they're supposed to. Sometimes if you try to jump off a slope, the game just doesn't work. Is this one of those games where if you hold down the A button, it keeps jumping like in Contra Force? Okay, it does. Yeah, so I think don't tap the A button, hold down the A button. That's what you need to do. Also, it's going to keep spawning these stupid fountains of... I was about to say fountains of Wayne, but no. Fountains of, spread gun, apparently. Also, the spread gun in this, there's a reason I'm skipping it. It's actually not to make the game harder. It's because the spread gun in this is surprisingly bad. Because you can only have one set of shots on screen at once. The laser is also like that, but it's also far more powerful than the spread gun. Which makes it the better one to have, weirdly enough. And this is also where they start spawning 2 weapons at once. Also, do not collect the machine gun. The machine gun is just the default weapon. Which is okay to have if you've got nothing else. Again, it's probably actually better than the spread gun, ironically. But, yeah. If you got the flame gun, which I think is the same, but it has a bit more range. Or the laser, just hold on to those. See how far we get with this game. Also, I should point out there's no point system, or rather the point system just doesn't work in this game. So to get extra lives, you have to collect those R tokens, which, of course, in other games that speeds up your weapon, the shots on your weapon go faster. But in this game, it just gives you an extra life, which is probably the better thing to have anyway. Especially since, again, the points system in this game doesn't work. Sadly, the collecting the same weapon twice doesn't really do much. You know, it's not like, you know, Contra 4 or anything like that where you can upgrade the weapons. Which would be nice, but yeah, this game doesn't do that. So you could... I do love the soundtrack. It's so messed up. Like, just... When I played this, like, when I got into, like, NES emulation, like, I loved Contra. So much so that when Contra 4 came out, I actually imported it. Like, for the DS, I was like, I need to have this game. It's like, a numbered Contra game, it's really good. I'm actually just going to ignore the flamethrower weapon, because it's not as good from what I remember. Okay, this boss is an easy pattern. You just have to make sure you don't get hit by... You don't get hit by these twats who just appear at random. So they realised the boss was too easy, so they need to have just gits spawn every couple of seconds. Yeah. Thankfully, the bosses do get easier after the first one. It really feels like they made this game for PAL. And didn't really bother to fix the music for NTSC. Because there's no way that the music's supposed to sound like this. I remember there was, it was like an RPG that Waishi made, probably around the same time, where the music just sounds like this, like the battle theme is just like super fast. And it just feels like it's not even supposed to sound like that. Ugh. Yeah, messed up. Again, this is like Burble's core. I'm just going to keep referencing Burbles to the day I die. Because Burbles is just priceless. Okay, I did it. Make sure an enemy doesn't just, like, spawn on screen and just kill me immediately. Here we go, stage 4. Also, it says rest 1, even though I'm pretty sure I'm on my last life, so I don't know what's going on there. Also, why do the weapon power-ups take, like, 50 shots to open them? Doesn't make any sense. But yeah, that is Super Contra 7. one of the better bootlegs you'll find on the system, as best as it is. Like, they couldn't even get the score system to work. Like how would that have... Like, how would that have... how hard would that have been to get working? Now, as I say, I'm going to leave Ninja Turtles 3 and 4 for next time, but I do just want to show off Contra 8 while I'm here. Yeah, so, does this look familiar? In fact, I'm going to show you a real easy way to beat this game. I'm going to show you how you can beat this game without touching the controller. So we're just going to let the game play itself. So, yeah, it looks a lot like the previous game, and that's mostly because it is the previous game. Like, literally... Contra 7 and 8 are exactly the same game, just with a different title. Why they decided to include both of these on this console, I have no idea. Like, it really is just a waste of a slot on this menu. Like, they could have put in, like, Rekka, or Super Mario 2, or... I can't even remember what else. I was going to say Gunnak, but that is on here. I don't know, like Mega Man 2 maybe could have been on this? But no, instead they put the same game on here twice, just with a different name. And, like, the same thing with Contra Force and Contra 6. Again, they're just the same game with a different title. Like they couldn't have put the real Tecmo Bowl on here instead of just put a different game on here and just call it Tecmo Bowl. Like, surely they could have just replaced one of these games with Tecmo Bowl. Or better yet, Tecmo Super Bowl. Because Tecmo Super Bowl is the better game. I don't care what Jeff Gersman says. Like, I don't often say people are incorrect for an opinion. Like, no, on that one I'm pretty sure he's incorrect. Like, if Mario 3 ends up topping that list, I'll disagree with it, but I'll be like, I at least get why it's like that. Like, I'll be like, I understand that. Tecmo Bowl being above Tecmo Super Bowl, though, that just doesn't make any sense. But, yeah, this is how you beat the game, by the way. So, if you let the game run on the demo mode, it just gives you the ending. It's like Back to the Future Part 2 on Master System. Like, they realised that no one would actually want to play through the game, so they just give you the ending just by watching the demo. Though, actually, I wouldn't mind playing through this game in full again. I have played through this before, I got the achievements on it. But, here's a question. Does watching the demo mode count as beating the game if the ending is in the demo mode? Also, yeah, they removed the credits, which is a bit odd. I don't know what happened there. Is this a pirated? Well, no, because I think it said ESC code at the start, so I don't know what's going on there. Okay, here's a question. Should I count this as completing the game? Like, is that fair? Or should I just not count that? Because I feel like that's being a bit cheeky, but... I mean, I technically beat the game by watching the demo sequence. Okay, he's saying no. Okay. Yeah, okay, I think we'll leave it on 64 in that case. I almost wanted to do that just because it'd be funny. But, nah, since I couldn't beat the game normally, we'll just leave it at 64. But anyway, yeah, I think next time we'll take a look at Ninja Turtles 3 and 4. So, Ninja Turtles 4 is doubtless going to be Tournament Fighters, because, you know, that is the fourth and final Ninja Turtles game that got released. But yeah, we'll play those. Doubtless I'll play some other games as well. So, until next time, hopefully it will be a bit less warm next Saturday. Well, I guess I'll find out then. And hopefully I'll be done with these games, presumably sometime in June. But, I'll see you next week, so take care. Bye-bye.